all, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends. Very, very nice to meet you, and thanks a lot for coming today. It's our exclusive pre-Christmas masterclass, and you know that everything which is pre-Christmas is good, but this one will not be good. It will be very good because we have a special guest and a special topic. Zofia Bugajna-Kasdepke, a Polish public relations expert, founding partner of SEC Newgate, Central and Eastern Europe. Great company and a great speaker, one of my best friends who I never met in my life in person. So it's really an exception. And I hope that we'll meet soon with you, all of you guys, very soon, March or April in Davos, Switzerland, for our annual summit, the first one in person after the pandemic. We started a WCFA PR Masterclasses, it's number 2, something like 3 months ago. And we want to have it every month. Each of our members, each of our friends, each of our experts, knowledgeable managers, to share their experience with us, to share their experience in the world, to the world, and the ones who cannot, for one or another reason, participate in our live meeting now, to make it possible with the website of the WCFA to listen to our PR masterclasses. Again, today we have Zofia, and she will talk about the importance of the personal credibility. Oh my gosh, you know that public relations business is a business of a big ego, all of us. And the ones who say they don't have big ego, they have even bigger than anyone else. But this is the nature of the public relations. This is the nature of the modern management, the modern managers, by the way. Because 10 years ago, the managers were fighting to get into the newspapers or to a TV talk show, but mainly newspapers, because for the TV, then you should have different abilities and presentations. Today, there is no fight, because all of us, we have media. We have in our hands social media. And that's the big question. How to use them in a way that our personal credibility becoming higher and higher, and our enemies don't write against us, don't write stupidities, our competitors. So whoever else would like to write something against us can do it. And we must be prepared for that, of course, because social media is a global medium. So again, thanks for joining us. My name is Maxim Behar, and I'm the president of the World Communications Forum. And today I have a huge, huge honor to introduce you our speaker, Madame Zofia Bugajna-Kasdepke from SEC Newgate, Central and Eastern Europe. She is an award-winning PR expert with 20 years of experience. Oh my gosh, Zofia, you started in the kindergarten, your business?
Of course, I have to admit, yes, I was so young.
So it was 7 years old when you started this 20 years experience. And she's very experienced in communications consulting, strategy development, and implementation of PR and marketing projects. She has over 20 awards and recognitions, including Woman to Watch in 2022 on Forbes, Woman Power Raising List Poland, Heroine, okay, of the Women in Success series in Vogue Poland magazine. In 2015-2019, Eastern European Consultancy of the Year, EFFIE, IPRA, SABRE, European Excellence Award. And it's not only Poland. I can guarantee that Zofia is a person who is known as an excellent expert far, far beyond the Polish borders. Again, Zofia, a lady with excellent personal credibility, will speak today about the importance of personal credibility. Thanks again, one more time. Dziękuję bardzo, Zofia, kłaniam się, and you have the floor.
Thank you, Maxim, for this amazing introduction. I feel really honored to share some thoughts on credibility, but I will start from my personal story, because today I think I'm credible and well-recognized expert, but it wasn't my story several years ago. When I was 28, when I was account manager, I conducted a media training for my client. And of course, it was quite challenging, so the Q&A session was very tough. And the most challenging question, however, was directed to me, because my client asked me, how many times have you been in a similar situation? Have you ever been performed live on TV? And embarrassed, I had to admit, no, never. To shame I felt at the time made absolutely change my approach. So I learned one important thing: practice what you preach. I don't believe that, and I really not buy the story that PR experts need to be in a shadow. We need to be credible, and we need to practice what we preach. Creder meaning is rooted in a word to believe. So it seems form the same root as credit. So we can think of it in this way. So before bank grants a loan, it checks the borrower creditworthiness. So the borrower credible enough to inspire confidence, and can we trust that they will fulfill their obligation and panic back? So the same way, you must be credible as a PR practitioner, as self-experienced person. So I hope you will never be Sheryl Sandberg, that her credibility, that her lost credibility in 100% from being the queen of scaling to typhoid Mary. So what is the key two elements of credibility? This is a perception of competence and trust. Perception of competence means people believe in your knowledge, skills, and ability to perform the task or the validity of your recommendation. And trust is also their belief in your values and reliability. So credibility is assessed simply by comparing what you say with what you do in your daily behavior. All leaders, not only PR leaders, but for PR leaders is super important. So leaders who say one thing and do another will be not perceived as authentic and credible. These qualities are essential to being an effective leader in times of super VUCA, or even new acronym BANI. So the perception of competence is always that somebody believes in you. Clients, colleagues, managers form such opinions or perception by interacting directly with you, or what Maxim point in his speech, by indirectly observing your actions and performance. These insights are crucial in the age of hyperconnections, when vast amount of information about you are available in the public domain. For example, it's information about you on LinkedIn, recommendation, the quality interactions, how you comment, post, how you behave in a social space, your portfolio, prestigious awards, case studies of you and your company. Your credibility is important because the people you interact with want to be sure that you are competent and trustworthy when you advise them and recommend specific actions to take. The 3 C's of credibility parallel Aristotle's ethos. So it's a competence, character, and caring. And the best leader possess all 3 traits. Some of them, well, not, and they lose credibility. So I hope you will not be Elizabeth Holmes for Theranos, Adam Neumann from WeWork or Travis Kalanick from Uber. His company was in a good economic shape, but because of losing credibility, Uber had a massive problem with its reputation. And based to the latest research of brand finance, we can see that CEOs are one of the most underrated marketing tools. See the correlance between CEO reputation and brand reputation. Now we have proof that it's connected. So we should know, we should use this knowledge also to building our own personal brand and our own reputation, because all of us are ambassadors of companies we work in. And the sentence I'm personally really hate, and I couldn't not agree more, is that the shoemaker's children are ill-shoed. How you convince the client to run a company's profile on LinkedIn or invest in employee advocacy if neither your company nor you are actively present there? If something has no value to you, why should it be valuable to your client? Personal credibility is something that you should build every day, and you should be also aware that every of us is a personal brand. So what is the difference between personal credibility and personal brand? Personal branding is creating a brand for a specific person. Personal brand needs a vision, just like a company or product. What value do you bring to other people? How can you help them? Personal brand is not about you, it's about other people. And personal credibility consists of values such as honesty, integrity, trust, other personal qualities that show who you are as a person. Professional credibility is your education, skills, experience, success. Is also your career path, which can be straight or complicated, and it could be a problem or not, depends on how good a story you have. But this is also part of your professional credibility. So you need to combine these two elements and be aware that you need to work on these aspects of your professional image. Sometimes you will fail, and it's also it will influence your credibility. But I have good information. For the first time, President of the United States apologized, and it was in 1961. It was John F. Kennedy who apologized for the Bay of Pigs invasion. He said, "Victory has 100's father, but defeat is an orphan. But I am responsible officer for the government." What happened? Afterwards, his popularity soared. Why? Because research shows that leaders lose credibility when they show incompetence and unreliability. But our co-workers, our clients are much more tolerant and forgive our incompetent leader more quickly than an untrustworthy leader. Why it's happening? No, it's simple. The incompetent person can at least try to become more competent, while an unreliable person cannot quickly become more trustworthy. So personally, I really keep my fingers crossed for Denmark Vasalia from Balenciaga, who said sorry for inappropriate campaign featuring children. And he said that he is personally responsible for that, and he is really, really sorry. I think that we are more willing to forget or to say, okay, it was a mistake, but now you will do a good thing when the leader is credible and when we really like them. This is one of the example which provides to the conclusion that when you lose your value or you are create on as a person who you are not, it's a massive problem for your company. Here you can see a Dan Priest. He was called the best boss in America, but unfortunately he wasn't such good boss as he would like to create on, because he was sexually aggressor and abused women, so his reputation failed, and as some of the previous example, he had to step up from his own company. Your killer question you need to ask yourself, and is three main questions. So to assess your level of credibility as peer professional, you need to ask yourself these questions. Clients, colleagues, and so on also will ask themselves about your professional judgment, about guidelines, how they trust you, because the truth of the first law of leadership of the causes Pottinger is that if you don't believe in the messenger, you won't believe in the message. If you don't have trust of your partners, of your client, or even of your boss, you will never be a good advisor. You will never be good as a PR consultant. So without this, there is no way to become important person in the PR industry. What you can do to build your strategy? I believe that the most important thing is to focus on long-term goals. Consider what you would advise your client if they ask you to create a personal brand strategy. For example, what goals, audience, and what you recommend them to focus on. Before setting your path for yourself, ask your friends about your strength. It's good if you also talk to your boss and turn the feedback into something useful. So do you want to be a creative person, or do you want to be a client service person, or maybe you want to be a strategic person? Every of us have a very special strength, and identify this special strength help us to focus on long-term goals, because one thing is sure, that you will associate with, and what will build your credibility can be your conscious decision or absolutely lottery. And I hope you are not a gambler. So here you have some of the person I really admire, and they build their recognition in the industry by identify long-term goals and their strength. Here you have Anna Andelic from Serbia. She is absolutely a top expert in luxury, in modern luxury, in new luxury. Now she's based in New York, and this is an amazing example of international career. The second person is Thomas Koster, a good advertising guy. He is amazing in methodology of working with the purpose for the brand, and to not miss the real purpose of the brand. The friend of mine, Gabriela Lungu from Romania, she is also a person who decided to focus on creativity. And right now she is responsible for creative program for Cannes Lions. She's based in London, and she's so insightful person when it comes to creativity. Or my previous boss, Richard Edelman, he is so focused on trust in our industry. All those people identify their strength and the area of expertise and focus on them, because as a PR person, we need to be recognized not only because we have a position, so we are the CEO of the agency or the head of communication on the client side, but also because we are expert in a specific field. So it's the first thing you should do. The second is that leaders are seen as trustworthy and credible when they communicate and behave consistently. So your digital footprint will matter to your clients and to your future employers and to your future employees maybe. So if you are a manager, also for your managers, focus, my advice is to focus on initiatives and subject areas that will position you as an expert in a given field. So it's not about PR, but also about selected industries, the knowledge and understanding of which will become your asset and an essential component of your credibility as an expert. So the market needs to know you. My pro tip is that you need to bear in mind culture norm. You need to play with the culture norm, but you need to be aware of that, because people naturally need to organize reality. So we love to label. So if you want to be a board member, you should look like a board member or fight with that, but it will be your decision. According to the Kellogg School of Management experiment, examined the cognitive process of attention and verbal working memory, people in the group dressed in the labeled lab coats who believe they were doctor's coats scored significantly higher than other two groups. So if you invest in your dressing, it's always a good investment. Be also confident, because in your ability to your confidence is important to your client. If you don't have this quality, it will be extremely difficult for you in PR. Experts in our industry are expected to make recommendation and to respond quickly. So it's very rare that you have all necessary information and confirmed data. You often have to rely on yourself and your professional judgment. So of course, this does not came from nowhere. So you draw from your knowledge and expertise and ability and analyze and synthesize. If you are afraid of taking responsibility, I unfortunately have I have to say that our profession is not for you. Model your way, because professional work is only a part of your activity. So there is a lot of non-profit work for the third sector, participation in the industry initiatives, and work in think tanks. If someone is to believe that you know a given topic inside out, this is the best way to start working on the credibility of an expert. Personally, I don't buy information that that somebody is focused only on work and can do only work in the agency and nothing else, because it means that you have problem with managing your time and that your insights are not so good because you are only in one organization. Use this tip to really model your way, because you will be really great expert and insightful person. And of course, stand for something, because credibility only happens when everything is consistent from inside out. So if you are a vegan, don't work for foie gras companies. Show that you have true values, and you can fight for them in a different foundation or a non-profit initiative. Credibility is a leader currency, and with it, he or she is solvent. It's a bankrupt. It's a John Maxwell sentence, and I really agree with that. And the case study I would like to share with you is Bell Pottinger. Is the story of Bell Pottinger, one of the most important, spectacular and famous PR agency from the UK. The agency was founded in 1998 by Lord Timothy Bell, a longtime advisor to Margaret Thatcher. The firm employed several hundred consultants and made $60 million in dollars in communication consulting. But Pottinger worked for dubious clients such as Belarus President Alexander Lukashenko, South African athlete Oscar Pistorius, who was, as you know, accused and sentenced for murdering his girlfriend, Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, and the foundation of Chilean dictator General Pinochet. So the Bell Pottinger agency was also employed by the wealthy, powerful, and controversial Gupta family, who were increasing their fortune through their South African business. Why? Because the agency could directly influence the country politics thanks to its connection with the also controversial South African President Jacob Zuma. And the Bell Pottinger agency whitewashed Zuma activities for only $100,000 a month. And at the same point, the cup of bitterness overflowed, because one of the tasks approved by the agency was to intensify racial tension between white and black South Africans. So Gupta family wanted to get rich thanks to it. And the local opposition stood in the way of Bell Pottinger. So they based on independent sources and work out the agency tactics. You can imagine that the effect was catastrophic for the British professionals and for the agency. Serious allegations were made against them, and compliant was filled with the powerful British Association of the PR Agency, to which Bell Pottinger was a member. Later events were like a avalanche. So the critical articles about the company appeared in the media, and its CEO, James Henderson, resigned. Even specialists like those at Bell Pottinger's could not prevent the image disaster. So the PRACA expelled them. Clients broke contracts, shareholders sold shares, and employees left. And the agency, which was a few weeks before the hegemon of the industry, fell apart. So this case proved that without credibility, we are nothing. We are really nothing. It's the most important thing for people in our industry, is to be a credible expert and to have trust of our stakeholders. But how to become an industry expert? Well, I have a good news, because you are in the right place. together we are meeting on the World Communication Forum Association Masterclass. And this is a good move because if you invest in your knowledge, you broaden your horizons, it's always a good direction. You can always check the local peer association and science clubs on university to invest in yourself. And the path from zero to hero is, of course, the first and the most important: get noticed by the community. You can be active in social media, you can be active as a contributor of the media. You can pitch traditional media with your ideas for interviews or articles, but you can also build your bridging social capital. And what is it? It's something that you can really work on, because when you're talking about your achievements outside the project, the team, and giving yourself a chance to meet people outside your company, it's a tool for pursuing a more satisfying career. So when you post on LinkedIn, the key answer is what I have delivered on the project, what value I had created. So you should present yourself even if you are a junior account executive in the agency, you should start this routine, because in social media, you can get noticed by traditional media, and you can always build your recognition. And after meeting with somebody in person, somebody said, well, I know you, Zofia. I don't know, maybe we met we met before. And I said, well, I think no, but probably we know each other from social media. But at that time we feel connected because we know each other from being active on the field of the media or social media. So bridging social capital is very important. Broadening your network and invest in your relations with people outside your company is very important, and you should add this point to your even daily routine. Being a lifelincer is not a big challenge, but you need to remember about very basic thing. So 10% of the content should focus on you. And what CEO Magazine is recommend is that 35% of your content should be based on news, but 35% your activity in social media on LinkedIn should be based on relationship with other people. So you should be generous. You should comment post of your friends, of your colleagues, sometimes of your competitor, because in this way you are more visible, and you are becoming a natural part of the PR community in your country or in your region. Cognitive ease is that something I just wanted to explain more. So first, you should set your own benchmarks. People whose career you admire and whose activity, professional profiles can just inspire you. So social media is a great platform to show that full spectrum of your personality and your ability, but use this effect of familiarity because new clients and prospects, and even these prospects that you just lost a tender will remember you, will feel familiar with you, and it will help you in next tender. It will help you in next year, because you will be somebody who has its own mark in the industry. And another level of building your recognition is a subject matter expertise. Invest in this. Share your knowledge and expertise. Give speeches and presentation. If you are a very young person, you always can be insightful for example, my generation, because you, even if you are entering our profession, you can have a lot of interesting things to say. Your generational perspective, your view on working in the industry or experiencing social media are mine insights for clients and heads of PR agency. So everybody in our industry could be a speaker, not only agency bosses or established PR stars. You can invest in your own star, and don't be afraid to start on a high note, because young generation has so many interesting things to say. Thought leadership is one of the last thing that is building your mark. So ability to anticipate is, in my opinion, essential quality in the PR industry. So, well, develop your foresight. What sources of knowledge do you have? How many of them come from outside your country and region? How many subscription you have? When you looking where you are looking for information, how you develop your horizons. This is the question you should ask yourself, because leverage research skills always help you to see a bigger pictures. And one of the most effective way is to use the research skills to synthesize and master industry-specific knowledge, trends, and information. So find out what a specific types of knowledge people in your industry want, and just build expertise around them. You can build your expertise around, for instance, a TikTok, which is right now a trending social media. And last but not least, as a young professional in our industry, try to identify amazing initiative to build your own mark. For instance, PR World Cup of ICCO. This is an amazing initiative you can be part of. Or you can take part in the Cannes Lions young competitors for just, to prove that you are a creative head. I'm so extremely proud about these two people from my team, Eva and Szymon, because they are only 23, and this year they were recognized as the best in creative, as the best creatives in Poland in Cannes Lions competitions, and they got a bronze medal in ICCO World Cup. Everything you can do, everything you will do, it will help you to broaden your knowledge and horizons. You should also look for such initiatives like See It Be It of Cannes Lions for women, or from my region, Young Drummer Competition or Eurobest Creative Competition. I'm enthusiast of the Lions Creative Mentoring because it's always, opportunity to get to know new people, to get to know top stars of the industry, to work with people, and of course, last but not least, World Communication Forum Association also has Rising Star Award for practitioners under the age of 30. So for all of representatives of young generation, I want to say one thing: build trust, earn trust, get trust, and create your mark in PR. I will keep my fingers crossed for your success and for all initiative you will do. please just bear in mind that everybody in our industry should invest in personal branding, should invest in credibility, because this is the crucial thing for us as practitioners. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Zofia. Dziękuję bardzo. And thanks a lot to all our friends listening this. Now we have a chance to ask questions to Zofia and to get some more from her amazing experience. You have the floor, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends. Questions from Trinidad and Tobago, questions from South Africa.
I don't see the questions. Okay.
You can write them. You can ask them.
I must say, I don't have a question per se, but I will say that this presentation was particularly insightful. I'm fairly new to the PR profession. I mean, I've done my training and all of that in communications, but prior to that, I was in sales and marketing. So now I'm coming over strictly to focus on PR, right? And I think this presentation, I really hope, that I can access the recording afterwards. But there are a lot of things in here that I've been having thoughts about, that were endorsed here, particularly about personal credibility as a PR professional, but also personal credibility about the CEO of the company, with which I work with in the communications department, and how I can utilize them as one of our key marketing or brand tools as well. So I really want to say thank you. Thank you again to Maxim, for extending the invitation to our association here in Trinidad.
Thank you so much for this feedback. I think we should treat ourselves as a CEO of our personal brands, and a PR person without recognition, I think, there is no future for such people, especially Maxim said, in age of social media.
Thank you. Thank you, the Queen of Trinidad, for your question. And do we have any questions to Zofia? How is the weather in Poland, or whatever we can ask?
Hi, good morning.
Hi, Colin.
Good morning,
Zofia.
Colin.
Hi, Maxim. Hi, guys. I have a question.
Can you introduce yourself, please?
Oh, I'm calling you from Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay.
I'm a PR expert. Well, not expert, but I practice.
Okay, we met.
Yeah. So my question, Zofia, many times when you are, let's say, representing a brand or a company as the public relations manager or consultant or whatever, on many occasions, there will be times where you have an opposing point of view on how a situation should be managed compared to what your CEO, boss, or client, how they would want it dealt with, especially when you, guess based on your experience, would kind of know how it would play out in the public sphere. So you would distinctly advise them against saying something, doing something, or taking a particular route. However, sometimes many people's egos get in the way and they are determined to go that particular route because they're confident and say, this is what I want to do. At that moment, your personal credibility sometimes comes into question because you're now representing a brand or a message that you don't personally agree with. Can you give some tips on navigating that those types of situations?
Okay. I think my question or my answer will be quite easy, because I cannot imagine the situation that I represent the brand I don't agree with, or that I not feel connected, and the strategy is, not accepted also by me. However, I think that in PR I represent the agency, so my role is to be a consultant. So it means that the client don't agree with me, and it's his responsibility or her responsibility, and it's okay. So my role is to give the best, to give the best advice, the best consultancy, but the final decision is always on the client. However, I cannot imagine situation that I'm a frontman, I'm a speaker for the client, and I don't agree with the storyline or the communication strategy, because it's always my face and my credibility. So as a consultant, I can give advice, and client can, it's his right, not accept my approach, and we can discuss about. But when I'm in the front of a media, I need to be I need to feel confident that this is a good direction, because otherwise me and the client will pay for that.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other? We have time for one more question. No questions. Thank you very much, Zofia. It was very valuable, very interesting for all of us. 34, 33 without you, 32 without me, but for me was absolutely quite very interesting as well. Visitors today. I just want to remind that our next masterclass will be on 11th of January, and my modest person will present, talking about growth of the stars of new business, how to sell to the clients, how to sell ourselves to the public. And then we will have March 15 on storytelling by our good friend Eva Snieders from the Netherlands. I think she lives now in Spain. Tavisile Tumo, executive committee member from South Africa of WCFA, will speak on April 12th about the brand voice speaking loud on the market and voice and brand recognition. Then we have another one in May by the British PR expert Amanda Coleman, how to get the best media coverage. And also in June, we will have Katja Fassing from the Netherlands talking about the role of communication of promoting good governance and regulated environment. Katja is a great expert on the project, CSR project. So that's our future plans. We will be in touch online on the email, so you'll be enough advance warned about that. And let me wish you at the very end happy holidays, Merry Christmas, be healthy, be happy, and be a very committed and very active WCFA members like Zofia and the rest of her friends from beautiful Poland are.
Thank you.
Love to everyone.
Thanks a lot.
Happy holidays. Thank you. Bye-bye.